What's up everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I have the keys to a pretty special Audi RS7. This is a 2021 RS7-R. There's only 125 of these specific cars built. It's kind of a custom type of car. It's got like 750 horsepower, something like that. Pretty sick setup, as you can tell, with the cool wheels, the carbon fiber, and all of that. This is gonna be a really fun car to test out and drive. A good friend of mine owns this car, and he's given me pretty much full permission to have a lot of fun in the car. So with that said, let's see what it's like driving a modified RS7-R and have some fun in this thing. Alright, so we are now setting off in the Audi RS7-R. So basically this is kind of a one-off type of car, only 125 of them, and it's tuned up, souped up. Obviously looks a little bit different than a standard RS7, which is already a pretty insane, I'd say, family sedan. You know, this has all the space, all the practicality of a Sportback, and yet we have the twin-turbo V8 with even more power than stock, well over 700, and the quattro all-wheel drive system, the automatic transmission, all that good stuff. Beautiful interior. We're in comfort mode right now, and it still drives like a normal car. I mean, this is absolutely comfortable, as you would expect. And you still get all the technology, all the normal luxuries that you would expect from a six-figure Audi. I gotta say, driving Audis is always a good thing because they are just so nice to drive. This one is gonna be very interesting. We have all of your normal drive modes. So if we go into the dynamic mode, the whole car stiffens up a little bit. And then we can tap the RS mode. Going into RS2, that's kind of presets. And this one is already set up to be the most aggressive that this car can possibly be. Alright, so now that we are on some fun twisties, you can just tell there's so much grunt in this engine, and that was like half throttle, only up to 4,500. Oh my gosh. This thing, you can tell, just pulls. There is so much meat. Oh my gosh. This is like, I don't even know what to say just yet. Oof, man, you got to really keep up with the transmission. As you saw, it just kind of hit the rev limiter a little bit, cuts power, and then lets you get back into it. But it is really quick revving for even a V8, and the transmission is super snappy. The crazy thing, when you're in this car, it's so incredibly refined and smooth. I mean, you'll hit, obviously, really fast speeds without even thinking. And it doesn't take away from any of the smoothness, the power this car is going to give you. And even taking tight turns, jeez, it just rockets up to speed, and it is incredibly flat. Of course, we have, I think it's air ride suspension in this. That does have an adjustable suspension. Wow, this thing is nuts. Gosh, every time you let off, you can just kind of hear some gurgles and things. This thing is like a luxury rocket ship. That is just nuts the way this package is. Oh my gosh. It's cool to be in such a luxurious car that then has so much power to it. This one is stock in the sense of this is how this car comes. The RS7-R, there's no extra things on top of it. This is what this car is going to give you. And already it is just a really good blend. I can't imagine even straight piping it or something. I think we just spun a little bit. I'm glad we have the heads-up display, because looking down at the gauge cluster, this thing goes so fast, so quickly, you don't even have time to look down that far. Gosh. I've never been in a luxury car. Like this is like an ultimate luxury car, quite honestly, that has this power and the handling. And the crazy thing is, I don't even need to talk loudly because it's still refined and quiet. Goodness gracious, you can just propel out of a turn. Holy crap, this thing is nuts. So I think for launch control, if we go back into the automatic, it's going to be an S, which is the automatic sport mode for the transmission. Being in RS2 now, it should let me do launch control if I come to a standstill. Oh, this thing is already crazy. All right, foot on the brake and then the gas. Gosh. I wouldn't say it is a crazy launch to where it's like overwhelming, because this car is so incredibly smooth. There's not crazy like drama. Not to say it isn't exhilarating to rip it in this car, But the dramatic factor of crazier cars, you know, like my straight pipe GTR, that thing is a little bit crazy with how raw it is. This isn't a raw car at all. This is a luxurious car, but with all of the power you could ever want. That is just incredible. Oh my gosh. So what is it like to drive the RS7-R? It is luxurious and really, really fast. You'll go from 40 to 80 without even thinking. It is just that much power to this car. And as we take a sharp turn, and I think the craziest thing about the car is just the fact that it's so refined and insulated. You're doing speeds that you don't think you're doing because you're kind of disconnected from the outside world being so luxurious and refined. But then when you look down, you're, you know, hitting triple-digit speeds sometime. You're doing a launch control, crazy getting up to some speed, way quicker than a lot of other cars that are going to be out there on the roads. So the fact that you get such a blend of performance, but you still get all the luxuries is just something wild for me because I'm not used to that. Flipping a U-turn, going back on the fun roads. Gosh. Oh, that is just crazy. Oh, it's crazy to be in a fast luxury car like this. And I like how Audi gives you these types of cars. I mean, obviously the RS line with the RS7, the RS6. I think those are the big boy RS models. The RS5 is a little toned down. It's not really that aggressive of a car. And the RS3, that's kind of the really sporty version. And then when you look at these big ones, the 6 and the 7, they give you all the luxury and all the refinements, but then just some crazy performance. When you compare this with maybe an AMG car or an M car, I think the AMG car might give you a little bit more luxury aspects to it, but it's not going to be quite as pinpointy as this. The Mercedes cars are really on the luxury aspect. When you look at an M5 maybe, that would probably be the closest competitor to these RS7. That's going to be pretty sporty as well, but not quite as on par with this with the luxury aspects. So I like how Audi is kind of that perfect blend right in the middle. They give you just such a good blend of both. And driving this today, it is incredibly plush and beautiful to be here. Like, this interior is just nice. But then the acceleration and everything and the brakes, I mean, this is a car that really does, it does keep you on your toes enough. Gosh, it's nuts. Let's do another launch control real quick. So I believe that's how you do it. So floor the brake. Gosh, it's kind of one of those cars you just sit back, hold on, and let it rip for you. Oh, man. It does take the breath out of you because it is so quick and so responsive. Down low doesn't hit you crazy hard. It's not like it just squeals the tires. But up top, above 4,000, it just rockets and propels you forward. And then the styling is pretty nice. I like all the carbon fiber on the outside. The wheels look insane. You got the massive, I believe they're 10-piston brake calipers up front. Should be the same ones you're going to see on the Lamborghini Urus, and probably the R8 with the carbon ceramics. But this thing is just crazy to be in. I'm not the biggest fan of luxury cars because I just don't really need the luxury in my life just yet. But I can see getting a car like this because you have the practicality. You can put kids in the back, stuff in the back. With the Sportback, you can put those seats down and load bigger items in it and use this even as a utility vehicle if you wanted to. But then just tapping one button, going into the RS2, bumping us over into manual. And you're hitting pretty high speeds without even thinking. This is a wild car. This is the ultimate daily. If you just want literally everything in the car, like a performance luxury car that can do everything, this is a car to get. And I've kind of talked about something like this in the future when I actually need back seats that are functional. You know, this or the RS6 would be a way to go. But when you tone it up with the RS7-R package, one of 125, you kind of get that special aspects of a much more bold exterior, more power, a little better exhaust upgrade and stuff like that. And you really get a pretty special car. And Oh man, I can't believe it's taking the breath out of me, and yet I'm doing this in comfort. That is the weirdest thing. I'm just so used to a car that's this quick to be beating me up a little bit. My GTR, similar power levels to this, probably pretty similar in a straight line. That car beats you up a little bit. This car doesn't. This car is just in luxury, in comfort, but it absolutely rips it. I think that is then it for today's video, taking a look at the 2021 Audi RS7-R. Really cool spec, absolutely stunning car, fun to drive. My friend's got a really cool car here. If you guys enjoyed today's video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for plenty more content to come. And I'll see you guys in the next video.